Yes, I'm back with part two, sundown towns and bully communities. How do they, if they at all, contribute to homelessness and the homelessness crisis? Should these type of towns even still be allowed to carry on as such? And why do they go on so long? You know what I mean? I think a lot of it is people be scared to speak up about it, both the victims and maybe witnesses, because they don't want to be ran out of the town too. If you scare people with homelessness, who's going to, I mean, you got more people that just fear and walk around with anxiety about losing their home all of a sudden. Then what are you trying to do to the people? We just finished part one. For anybody that missed part one, feel free to tune in. Check out my live section here. You will make it TV. If you're not able to access the video in the live section, please visit our post section where we repost all of our lives right after we stream for you guys to go back in reference to anytime. Okay. Uh, Feel free to check out some of our inspirational quotes too that we post daily. I might miss a day or two in between here lately because I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I've been really, really busy, but you're never too busy to inspire another. I just try to keep that a very much important part of my daily routine here lately. And I challenge myself, do I have to know who I inspire? No, I don't. It can be a stranger. I never have to meet them at all. But you don't have to fear saying hi by simply hitting that like button, share, and subscribe. This way you receive notifications every time we go live just like this, or we post other content. It'll just kind of give you a ding on your notification bell, okay? So we hope everybody's doing good on this beautiful hump day. This is part two of our sundown town insightful topic, okay? Uh, our insightful topics, I know I explained it a lot, but our insightfulness topics are for the sole goal to urge positive change. So, how do we do this? We don't force anybody to do anything. We can't make anybody do anything that you will make it TV. We just inspire more people every day to do what they can, the best they can, in the best way they can, because we know it's a million ways to do anything. But yeah, I asked sundown towns, but there's other towns like that ain't even sundown towns. I just call them bully communities. If it's a town though, yeah, you can be considered that. Because more people should actually be caught doing the right thing when no one's looking than none. Actually, when we're adults, we can expect childishness from children or minors or youth even. You know what I mean? You can't accept we got a lot of people doing that too, just like expect the youth just because they're not baby kids. They're still youth. 17 and under, 18 and under, youth, 21 and under, youth. You can't expect them to be perfect. You can't expect them to pay their rent. You damn sure can't expect them to do stuff like that perfect. Like, oh, I just know how to save and I'm 18, 19, 20 years old. I mean, yeah, the more of those we have, the better. Making better investments. Not just pushing people into college, because the kids are seeing it right now on the news. They're pretty much demanding that everybody pay their student loans back, even if it's from 25 years ago. I just always, they were talking about them garnishing wages. I was like, guys, they've been doing that. Like, they're just more serious, cutting down about that. Like, hey, they are garnishing paychecks and different type of income too about those student loans. So we were talking about on part one how debt follows us. You've never known somebody to go follow their debt. Like, yep, I'm going to go check out my debt today, see what all I owe just so I can pay it. You might have people do that broken down increments where they put it on installment plans or payment plans or something like that, but you don't just see everybody just paying their debt off every day, bro. That's always been known to be a miracle. You know what I'm saying? If you get a grant or some big way to just pay it off all at one time, then that's beautiful. But most people, it's not like that. So we're reminding everybody that you will make it to. You don't let nobody make you feel bad about your credit standing or debt. Homelessness in itself contributes to more debt. Obviously, other people are out there giving out the kindness of their hearts or raising money for foundations that help people in these situations. Others, they just throw it in their piggy bank or their savings account, right? Because at the end of the day, everybody's trying to prevent from being in a situation, right? They're trying to prevent themselves from. I feel like it's actually more of a scare trend today to just talk about it more. Maybe people, that's how y'all gonna teach the young people now? Yeah, be scared of the streets. Look what's out there, zombies. In a perfect world, though, the streets are safe for everybody. You could walk down the street, sleep with your front door open. I knew this wouldn't be a popular topic. I was just trying to, I ain't gonna lie, I was trying to see something. Because when I look at the facts, there are still a lot of communities that resemble bully communities, or which I am going a direction with what I do as an inspirational speaker. It's not to, hey, let me teach you how to fight bully and teach MMA lessons and boxing, kickboxing lessons. That's not what I mean, other people do. They inspire people to learn how to fight, which maybe I will do segments about that, because self-defense classes, all this stuff is important. I do believe in it, you know what I mean? Like, protect yourself. But this is more about how to handle your life through, because like, just to say everybody can avoid a bully community at any given time is stupid when most people are bullies today. Literally. I just want to ask the psychologists and everybody, have y'all been seeing more people due to narcissism and the effects of narcissism? Because I bet they have. More people are control freaks. I think it's the internet, though. Literally, statistics show that since the internet came out, more this is crazy to me. They say since the internet came out, more couples broke up, and I'm not lying. They said the divorce rate went up since social media been out. I don't think it's funny. It's weird to see that the two might correlate. You know what I mean? I don't know why, but people say you can cheat on the internet. You can be cheating. They can catch you cheating off some text messages, some messages. Yep. Since the internet came out, more families have been broken up. But what is my title there say I'm talking about today? How do bully communities in sundown towns actually divide families too? Just imagine your kid becoming friends with a kid in the community, and you as a parent work to get another kid out of the community. Like, how does that make the other kid feel? Not the one that's getting kicked out, the family you're trying to put out. How does it make the kids feel? We started off on part one talking about how no child has really ever chosen the area that their parents stay in. No child at all. Not that I know yet. Foster kids really don't choose that. You're just going home with where they live. So that's not a choice for kids. So yeah, why wouldn't we want more adults to be thinking about it? Be thinking about that. They don't even get a say so. Like, it does pay to research it, but maybe more communities would clean up. Not just DC, not just New York, not LA. Yeah, the big cities, but a sundown town, that's a small town. It's easy to sit back and look at what the big cities need to do. Like, they're a big city. You're going to obviously see everything that's out of place in a big city. Everything that seems out of place or just extra that has nothing to do with community. And that's crazy. Community is so deep. you can't miss it. You know what I'm saying? Anytime you have different families surrounding people, individuals in the same area, you already have a community. All it can be after that is a healthy one or a toxic one. They're mad at me because this is the truth. Okay? Now, when we get down to talking about toxicity, yes, guys, some of the cleanest places. This is the illusion. This is the illusion right here. Some of the cleanest places to you with your naked eye, like no spots on the wall, nothing on the floor, everything arranged in organization. Those are the most toxic places, I'm telling you. I'm not here to say we should not practice cleanliness, because there's germs and everything else out there. You know how people say God ain't real because we can't see him, but see, germs and bacteria, all that stuff is real, and we don't just see it with the naked eye every day. See, they take real illusions and apply them to this side of our lives. You know what I'm saying? If you're not careful, because some illusions are real. They like natural illusions. Look at it. We could see bacteria and microorganisms and germs with our naked eye, but why don't we? These people with 20/20 vision can't see that. They can't see where the actual germ is, but they say germs are all over this earth every day. You can't say you cleaning more than the next person. I don't care how much you clean. You might have less germs, which is good. I definitely try to be on it because I have a toddler. It'll never just get like too cluttered or too nasty because you have a baby. But I'm not here to judge anybody. Some houses are cluttered. Some people have. That's what I'm talking about, though. Just because a person's home seems cluttered and stuff, that might be the cleanest home spiritually, though. You know what I'm saying? Or mentally, or in another place that's a cleaner home. You're just looking at the illusion. Some of the cleanest places are the most toxic places. If you can't see a germ anywhere, unless you see it under a microscope, how can you say it doesn't exist? Your naked eye just don't see it. So it's almost like having to grab people, trying to show them, like, look, right here. You got to make them come a little bit closer. Look at what I'm trying to show you. It ain't what I'm trying to show you don't exist. No, you just can't see it with your naked eye. And ain't nothing wrong with your eyes either. Some stuff is just created. You need a microscope. You need a magnifying glass to see some of these things. Okay, so with that being said, y'all, you can't just assume that what you do and don't see with your naked eye makes the next thing real or unreal. We left off talking about like hood, more poverty-stricken communities, the poverty-stricken areas, and all of their their mishaps and downfalls are always noticeable. Like if it's a big city, you're gonna see that. If it's a small town, would it be as noticeable? Well, on the movies, when people first pull up in small towns, they pull up to a tire shop or a diner, they usually say it feels weird. Because, you know, it's a community. Ain't nothing wrong with that. A community that's not used to getting many travelers, that's not considered a sundown town. It's those that don't get many travelers or new people. But when they do, it's just many reports of the same thing but different circumstances. If you have too many people saying it after they move to a new town and it's the same town, it's something with that town. I don't care how you try to put it. You keep trying to look up and down a person's life like, yeah, they must have did something to these people. But it's an all-white town. Look how that notification went off as I said that. But yeah, you can't blame that on the individuals. If more people in that town, you already have reports of people doing the same thing. If somebody in that town Uh, Number one, calling shots. Number two, because you got to have somebody to call the shots. Otherwise, how are things getting done? And that's why I say it does matter with leadership. Remembering that it's not the influencers who are supposed to be are supposed to be influencing the leader. It's actually the other way around. But everybody wants to be a leader. Everybody want to do that, bro. Because they thought leadership is only being a boss. Ain't that crazy? Leadership is not just about bossing people around and calling shots, bro. Like, I'm just trying to see at what point in modern day society are people going to accept that? Every leader that got in there, I don't care what it was, any leader that got up there just to boss people around and they actually didn't have real, true leadership qualities and stuff, it shows. It starts to show through the community. The community might start to show signs of disorganization, confusion, sufferings. And a good leader, all that just wouldn't even be going on. They just want to make it like, well, it's the people. They're doing it. We're just the leaders. Who should be influencing who? For too long, our leaders have gotten away with saying that. They've gotten away with saying this, man. It's crazy. They just be like, the South Side, yeah, we've been having crime over there. Or, that's just the hood part of the town. They always have crime over there. That's them. They make those decisions. That ain't us. But, once again, as a leader, though, what is this about you? And that's crazy. A real leader their first mind wouldn't be to put it on the followers. They would be looking at themselves like, damn, where did I fuck up? If you are in retail, for example, and you see y'all didn't do well one week, it would be the leader's job to find out what it was so they can work on it. Get the sales back up to par. That's what I'm saying. That's why I said I know it's prevalent. Like, you have more narcissists than ever. Everybody think leadership is about being the boss and calling the shots and running everybody. I just don't respect that, bro. It ain't that I can't respect leadership. I can't respect that. Like, you thought only bossing people around and what you think is right is right. It's like, what are you leading if only you... I did say leaders should influence people. It should be the other way around and not people influencing the leaders. But as the leaders, they be quick to be like, yeah, it was the people's fault. And it's just stupid. It's their fault how the whole system's set up. As a matter of fact, that's why you see a lot of leaders doing things on the other side too, where it comes down to actually like appealing where they can, standing up, actually challenging orders, challenging certain mandates and stuff like that. Thank God we still have leaders to do that, because otherwise, if you were a leader just looking to be the boss of everything and not consider the people, it actually would look worse right now if it wasn't for those that are still fighting against things. Just make sure you stand for something, no matter what it is. Stand for something, not just in the middle. Because whether you... To a dictator, though, the more silent you are, the better for them. Like, there's no other way to say it. You could think, oh, it's safer, I'm in the middle of the fence. But to them, you're in the middle of the fence, but you're quiet, so they don't mind. You know what I mean? I just think that maybe that was harsh to some people, what I said. I wouldn't say it's harsh, but it's real. How are you still allowed to vote, or your votes count and you're in a town that's been proven to do stuff like that. Not in history, but these days. Your whole voters' rights. If you don't get a ticket and go to jail, because the homeless people, they getting tickets. I feel like people with homes that's bothering people, they need a penalty too. Period. It's like if you can get a ticket for having a tent on the street, I don't even have to know your situation. It gotta be bad. You are in a tent on the street. So you know a person like that needs some help. But a person like that can get a ticket because that's how laws are changing in certain cities and stuff right now. So these established towns and cities, that's just sitting up there comfortable, like it's crazy. They're just sitting there comfortable, like, oh, we have nothing to worry about. We've been having our homes for years. Yeah, you do. If you're one of the towns that's been actually bullying people away when they try to come get a home and actually keep that home so that they are not also in tents outside. Maybe I'll come back this evening and elaborate a little more on this topic, because why not talk about a sundown town in the evening, right? And notice how on my streams about the topic, I'm not going to name any specific. The point is to spark your own interest in research. But yeah, in modern day time, you got truck drivers that still came up missing, people that went to towns thinking they're going for a job interview, not return home. All kind of stories like that still, like in modern day time. They didn't tell the family where they had an interview. They just went to a town and it was one of those, and they didn't like your kind there or something, and then you don't return home. Ain't that something? I don't think it's so much of them not liking your kind anymore. It's just more, hey, where can I benefit off of you? Which really still makes you their kind somehow, right? Like, yeah, you can stay in the community if you're benefiting us. And I'm like, well, I thought just spending money at the stores and paying my bills here is benefiting the community. Like, you have another person doing it, minding their business, helping to, keep the economy in the community healthy. It get even deeper when somebody feel like, well, we don't need your money here. Oh, okay, because I thought money was money. People say they love it, they gotta have it, they need it, right? But if the hate gets so deep where you tell a person you don't need their money, and you have a whole business where you sell products or services, and they want to come spend their money, and you tell a person, I don't need your money. That's some real hate. that's some real hate. Like, I don't care what if a customer come in and want to eat at my diner, my establishment, get a service or business. I just wouldn't use any discriminatory factors to decide whether I want their business or not. But people say they love money. You know what I'm saying? You don't love money, actually, if you'll decline it from somebody just because of, and you got a business, and you tell them, no, you can't ride, no, you can't go, no, you can't come in here. It's like, wait, I got some money though. How much is it? Oh, well, we want you to pay extra. That right there is BS too, because some of those towns be doing that. We just gonna extra charge you because you in town. You like, you do know I live here now, right? I'm a part of the community. Like, if anything, I deserve a discount. How much do I come here? That too, but overcharging is a whole nother one that more people are paying attention to. We've been taught to. I'm gonna teach it over here too. Like, yeah, go back over your bill analysis anytime. Make sure nobody charge you a little extra, even when you went to the store. You have to actually, that's why I look at the screen, probably like, she got trust issues. When I go in a store, online shopping, it's going to show you right there how much everything costs. It's going to you know what I'm saying, show you in the total price of the cart. But when I'm in a store and I'm at the register, I actually read the screen. Like, cause sometimes if you don't, the cashier done accidentally scan something twice or 3 times, and you like, hey, hold on, slow down. You just scared something twice. Sometimes they catch it before I do. Like, it's a rare occurrence, but I'm just saying that was a good example. It happens at retail places or gas pumps. I've seen that before, or maybe I was just blessed, but somebody arrived off and didn't finish pumping, or they had like $5-10 left, and it's like, I'm pumping gas before I even paid for it type of deal, you know. But that don't happen every day either. Still, overcharging, overpricing somebody is wrong. It's like, well, you're new in town. At this point, when y'all are new in town, don't even say nothing. But people say we're not sociable, or we have this look on our faces. We looking at y'all money hungry people and what you're turning the world into. That's why we don't have much to say. Like, surely if economy and community was just as safe as it needed to be, I don't know, why would people do that? Just overcharge. Like, just tax you. Because I might not get it. I don't know where my next dollar coming from type of deal. So I'm going to just tax you. Though I see you with kids. I done had people thought they was getting a tip. They didn't help me do. They didn't even help. Like, bro, didn't I just take all these groceries at the car by myself? You would have got a tip if you helped with that. But, you know, what? They just be, I don't know. Customer service ain't the same, though. Like, people used to like to earn their tips for real. Like, these people be whole men thinking they're supposed to get a tip. If they were late, anything that was actually worse, why would you get tipped for that? Like, but most times I do try to tip. I understand how tipping is important. And that's the thing. When people visit new towns and stuff, they're going to try to do that. Like, I'm not worried about it. Anywhere I tip, like, it'll show that in the app, depending on what you spent money doing. Uber Eats, all that. Like, it's going to show your tip history. Did people know that? It'll actually show that you be tipping, but they like, why you don't have your rent? Well, I'm trying to keep money in other people's pocket. What do y'all want us to do? You know what I mean? But yeah, the more you do on your own, that is less tips, because you did it. You're not even having to pay anybody for that service or product anymore. You're making it yourself, or you're doing it yourself. But then they have a problem with people doing it themselves too. You can't have a problem with people going more independent with their lives, but your communities are so out of whack now. People call themselves coming together to put a whole person out the community, run them off. Is that what they call them in sundown towns? It would say signs like "whites only after dark." That had to be a scary time for black people, bro. Or a time of intimidation that they're trying to roll back around slyly. In modern day times, I feel like if it's a town or a community that, you know, maybe I'm just giving ideas of some where the punishment is not severe, but it's like a warning. Like, hey, we revoke y'all driver's license, revoke y'all voters registrations rights, because why do you think you can kick people out the community? How about you don't get to drive your car for a little while? We revoke your driver's license. Cause like that's what I think is fair. Yeah, maybe people ain't gotta go to jail, cause that's why they bully. There's no real thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if people knew they can get their driver's license revoked or voters rights revoked, like, we don't want to hear who you want to vote for anymore. You've been adding to the homeless community. You know, Just to let y'all know, none of these people that think they can put people out of communities can. They don't own these towns and cities. They're taxpayers like the rest of us, really. And then they want to keep their town so protected and get out of here. But as if, like me, I read Black history. I've studied it a little bit. And they would build their own towns, their own communities. They would work hard, like put in a lot of generations into doing this. Some places they came with their own money too. That's where the idea of pooling and stuff like that came from, where everybody might contribute, their amount. But you didn't hear that in the Black communities. And Black communities should know better, because this is where we come from, like this type of history in this country. So, if you come from the history where you actually used to build your own towns, build your own homes, build your own postal office, have your own HBCU colleges, why would we think it's going to slide by across a being okay for these same kind of communities calling themselves running somebody out of town? I thought it was funny because I heard a rumor a time or two that I had been ran out of a town or two, and I'm like, what? See how it's embarrassing? Like, it's just something about it that make people look at you a type of way. And it's like, why are you looking at me a type of way? If it's true, don't you think that's wrong? Like, yeah, this was the rumor though. Like, I had been ran out of where? Out of what job? I guess that's all you could say, just because me just quitting and giving up easy, that's not even a part of my character. I guess you could say then I was run out of towns a few times. Like, what? So I just packed up and was ready to go. Ask me, the actual person, when you hear a rumor like that about me. But it is true about some. Like, literally, their lives were saved because they left. These towns don't be playing. They act like they be 100% serious if they want you gone, about putting in the effort to actually do that, to remove you from the community. But when you start talking on the elevated level, like, oh, okay, I need to use my rights in a way where me or the next person. Because how deep is hate being allowed to go? And all we have, you got the justice system when we commit a crime, but how far is that being weighed? You know what I'm saying? When people are being whole ran out of towns. Because I'm just telling y'all, that sundown towns are known for. It ain't a person coming into town seeing it's white people and they have a problem with it, or seeing that it's another culture of people and they have a problem with it. Obviously, they traveled there. They should feel just as welcome. And I mean, that would be a dreamy world, right? You could just pull up and everybody's like, oh, we got a new out of towner. I mean, why wouldn't it be like more community first? Like, if the person ain't even did nothing to make y'all feel intimidated or what, why not get to know them, fill them out, and not for reasons where you can prey on them. You might say, yeah, I need a hotel for the night. Oh, okay, travel right up the road, Route 20, up there, Route 66. That'll take you to the next hotel up there. Here's a few Chinese spots in town. Welcome the person. You need a taxi, here's the number to our community taxi service. I promise, I done came to communities and figured stuff like that out on my own. And people take it as intimidating, but you weren't even trying to be funny. I thought the less I bother a community, how am I bothering anybody? You get on Google, right? And just look it up. Like, hey, what are Chinese places near me? Literally, on Google these days, all you got to type is near me. You don't even need to ask nobody in the community. Really, if you don't want to, you got a device when you move to that new community, You can Google what you need to know. Hey, where's the local Whataburger? Where can I go wash my clothes? Where's the cleaners or the laundromat? Who's hiring, right? Where can I find a rental property? You can get on apps like apartments.com right now. That app was not created for just one person, but now it's like I'm trying to warn these app servicers, y'all need to be careful, man. If certain things can be breached and leaked already, and you got people looking up apartments and jobs on apps like Indeed and apartments.com, realtor.com, won't you think more people know where people are moving and where they stay? Because now anybody can just hack your whole system. Systems, I hope they're doing something about that though. Like, we don't want to see apps disappear. I don't think any of us want to see that. But when it comes to the traveling people do, and their safety while they have these devices on them, right? If you go to any local place and connect to their public Wi-Fi, you don't know. You just probably exposed yourself to, even though you're not from that town, they probably just got access to your whole device because you just connected it, not to speak against businesses, but that's why I'm gonna start asking some of them before I even connect to a public Wi-Fi, if I need to. Hey, how secure is your network? That's what y'all ask. Them 3 words. Those 5 words. How many words is that? Yeah, just ask them. How secure is your network? You should get an answer like they probably wouldn't even know how to answer you. They'll probably have to go get the manager. Cause like, how would just one of the regular employees know how the whole company's Wi-Fi works? You would have to go get a manager for that question. Like, hey, am I safe if I connect to your hotel Wi-Fi or your diner Wi-Fi, your Waffle House Wi-Fi? Am I safe connecting my device to this? Just pull them to the side. You don't have to make a scene about it. How safe is your network? How, you say not how safe, but how secure is it? Because with businesses like that, 9 times out of 10, they can afford to have a higher security on their Wi-Fi settings. But do they? So y'all be careful with that. Like, just going to local places connecting to their Wi-Fi. It's other videos that go in more detail about it. Not my own, but just other YouTubers that have come and did special segments to help us learn more about the importance of a secure network. Anybody can get Wi-Fi. Is your network secure though? Like that. Is it as possibly private and unblockable as possible, right? Not unblockable, but unhackable, I guess. Yeah, because I say it matters. If you go into a town you don't know where you at, or even if you know where you at, you bring your phone charger, you can charge your phone, you got your phone on you, so why do it matter where you at? This is the days we live in. I'm not saying it don't matter where you at, but I'm saying, why would it matter? You still got that person still got their device, their Fitbit, their laptop, their device. I can guarantee you they're not disconnected from the world. If you go even to another country with your phone, it's just a matter of if you're going to have service, but your phone usually still works anywhere you go. That made these phones going to tell on, just like a lot of old scams to be. If you ask me, it's just going to tell on it naturally. Like, bro, if a person can take their phone anywhere they go, what do you think you're doing when it comes to them? Like, I'm sure criminals take their phone everywhere they go too. That's my point. And yet you got so many people just still doing stuff with phones, or like accounts hacking and spam, catfish attacks. But I am speaking up for the youth of the world today when I say, here you will make a TV. No kid chooses where they, like, maybe in the household, maybe, or who they want to stay with. But as far as choosing where that adult stays, that's never their choice. So you can never put something on a kid that's from a new community, that's in a new community. Like, make that make sense. They are new in that community. How you gonna put something on them? Let's look at your community, right? Let's look at past stories, past reports of that community. Instead of, oh, that person, I told people that anybody tell you I just disappeared, they're suspicious. Because where did I go? You can tell them I disappeared, so what else you know? That's weird. People just, and anybody that just leave it at that, that's crazy to me. Like, you didn't ask no more questions? Because if I just say, if a person say a person disappeared, they know something else. Well, how you know that person disappeared, or that's a missing person, or they never came back once they went out of town? How you know that? Like, were you one of the last persons that heard from the person? Did you know where they last were? And those questions do matter. Because places like sundown towns and bully communities, yeah, that's one of the first things. Like, oh, okay, that person alone. That person is a YouTuber. That person must be, we got us a target. Like that. They're just creepier probably than they were back then. Because now you have the internet to help you stalk people. And you have devices that help you stalk people. I went ahead and just made peace of what the world has become. I'm not at peace at what it's become. I'm at peace at understanding how I got this far, though. Or how I can get this far for anybody, really. That how many people do you have paying attention? You know, but like I said, I'm not the leader. If I was the leader, they would lose driver's license and voters registrations. If I hear, and I'm a mayor or I'm any type of a large political influence, if I hear that you are working to put somebody out of town and it's a whole homeless crisis, oh yeah, you would get penalties. Cause like, who do you think you are? You think you own the city? All you own is whatever piece of land belong to you. Which for some of y'all, it's just your small apartments. It's just your small home. Or the little land that your home sits on. You do not control the whole city. But people say influences don't matter. Yeah, they matter if these people don't even be out here in control of the whole city. They're just residents thinking that influence, if you think influence don't matter, why can they go to higher authorities just to put somebody out of a community? Why can they just go to town meetings and say they think somebody should go? I bet you better have a good reason. If I was the leader of a town, especially, if that person wasn't bothering anybody, I'm the leader, I didn't even know they was here. Y'all introduced the person to me type of deal. Coming and telling on them so much. You see? But it said right here on Google, let me read it. They use intimidation tactics to get people to move out. It's like, what's happening is our own country vacating us all of a sudden. All Americans, I mean, I know the illegal immigrants have been being sent, but look how we're being sent away. Like, we can just bully you out of a community. What, and tell that person to go get a home somewhere else? I don't think that adds up. Like, so they're just supposed to have good faith in them going to go find a home and comfort somewhere else, and the same thing wouldn't happen there. You got too many people. Actually, influences matter for everybody's not to. Yeah, if because they say there's power in numbers. I'm pretty sure there's numbers in communities, and if you have more numbers working against one person, one family at any given time, that's strange, bro. It's some of the world's worst criminals, right? Those news stories that be on the news, they be whole people neighbors, bro. And the neighbors to get on the news talking about, I had no idea, or I used to hear them fight sometimes, or, because neighbors are usually who they interview on the news. I actually personally think they should stop that. There's no way all those neighbors on all those different news stories didn't know absolutely nothing until the tragedy struck. Come on, bro. You better off not talking to the news. If the news come knock on my door, I don't know. Like, I just don't feel like I would do that unless I knew the neighbor really, 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 really well. That's what the news could hear me say. Like, hey, I didn't even talk to my neighbor. That's what it would be. That's what it would be. I don't talk to my neighbors. Do not come ask me something about a news story to give a statement. Y'all heard that, Dean? What could I tell you would happen? Like, even if I was home, right? I can hear, but if I'm in my own home, I can't see anything that's going on. Like, so I just had always wondered when like tragedy strikes like that at actual homes. These are not homeless people. These are people with homes that end up on the news because tragedy struck. I was saying I always thought it was BS. Like with some stories, I bet it's some I can go pull up and I can just read the neighbors that be talking on these news stories. I can just read them, bro, like a book. Like, oh, so you didn't know nothing. You just like, oh, this is usually a small town, a quiet community. We never have this happen. Them stories I pay attention to too. Cause it's like, I believe you. If you say stuff like that usually don't happen in your town, well, don't stop right there. What happened with that family? Yeah, it's just time we go deeper with stuff like that. If you literally say, yeah, stuff like that usually don't happen, and then it happened, well, the news should ask them, well, what was so different about this family that it happened? You know what I mean? Like, they just be wanting publicity because something happened in town. Depending on what it is, yeah, it's weird. So they can ask for funding and say, well, now we need funding. This tragedy happened in town. We need funding for this place or that place. That's why I would look more into some of these stories that be quick to send the news over there. I don't know. The news has always been a news, but you notice like when it happened in people's houses, they always talk to their neighbors, bro. And the neighbors, everybody that be watching the news be really paying attention to what they they be paying attention to what they say. Yep, that's what I'm saying. Let's challenge all of our neighbors more. If that's the case, any even sign of apparent danger, since you want to be in people's business, you need to be one of the first in line to call to get them people some help. Which some people neighbors is like that. If they hear the slightest extra peep about something, they do. They're gonna call the community what's it called? Community watch or the police. Emergency non-police number, whatever it is. But maybe they should start some kind of new check-in system for people that travel to new places. We need to do something at this point. Because, like, in my opinion, what I'm saying in my reaction is, guys, sundown towns is not the only type of areas where bullying communities exist. They all use the same tactics, though. So it doesn't have to be an all-white racist town for it to be, that's what I'm saying, for it to be a bullying community. It's just time out that people are not taken serious when they say, oh, I might be being bullied by a community. Some people, it can't be denied. Like, you go outside, everybody seems to hate them. They already talking. They already watching. So I'm reading this straight from Wikipedia real quick. Well, this is from AI definition. It says key characteristics of sundown towns, but I'm gonna say sundown towns or bullying communities because they resemble one another. Number one, well, on the list of sundown towns, racial segregation is like, a main sign. It says they will actively and openly exclude non-white people, primarily African Americans, but also other groups like Asian Americans, Mexican Americans, and Jewish Americans. This is what sundown towns have a history of doing. Just because it says it right here on Google of your racial nationality. Okay? Now, this is the part where sundown town and bullying communities resemble to me. This right here. It has a label that says intimidation and violence. These towns often employ intimidation tactics, violence, or threats to discourage non-white residents and visitors. So, like I was explaining yesterday, most families today have some type of, I ain't gonna say most, but there's a large percentage of American families that are integrated. Let's be honest, integrated. Integrated means you brought two different races together, races of people. So notice how everybody will seem, oh yeah, we all for that. We're all for love. Love knows no color. Love knows no separation or division when it comes to biracial couples and biracial families. I say integrated families, but integrated families usually do lead to biracial children and therefore integrated families, because now those children have grandparents on both sides of the family. Now those children have family members on both sides of the family, not just the black dad and the white mom, or the white dad and the black mom, or the Asian mom and the white dad, because I've seen all kind of integrated families in my lifetime. Just, you might have a Cambodian with another race, but they love each other, right? So they're integrated family. Yes, we're talking about integrated families for. That's why I said I can't believe that sundown towns even still exist. Like, with as many integrated families that are amongst us, especially in America. Because maybe they're looking at the deeper root of what's causing all this homelessness. I bet they were shocked looking from afar, just seeing what it really is. Like, drugs and irresponsibility is just a small detail of what causes homelessness, guys. When you got whole discrimination still existing and racism. And then, is it more prevalent? Even in the past year, does it seem to be a rise of more, racism, discrimination tactics against people? You want one? Here, let me pour some in here. Here you go. Drink it. Yeah, so if you have more integrated families, it's just too late in modern times to like pretend that that doesn't exist. Not every family is just like straight that culture through and through these days. So many cultures done integrated and mixed. It's crazy, actually. Like, not in a bad way, just it is real. These families integrate, and that's where I say things get deeper, because just because you love somebody and they're a different race, not to be funny, but these are the facts about it, Just because you love somebody and they're a different race doesn't mean that that different race of person that you are dating looks at you that way or the extensions of you that way. I would say a person that say they love you and they're not being biased or racist against you, they would also accept the extensions of you. And if everybody was really doing that, you wouldn't have so many people still living secret racist lives. They are some of those same people that just maybe they tell each other, hey, we're going to go stay in our own communities where only people that look like us live. You know? Here you go. Come over here. I got your tablet. Here, come up here. Let me unlock it for you.
Okay, Mom.
Okay, so what I was saying is we have a big group of Americans who do practice integrated families. I wouldn't say they practice it, but they're open to free love, like just loving somebody that's another race. So then you have these families that integrate, but what I think be happening is that not everybody in those whole families are welcoming of another race just because you are. And oftentimes it does come out through family disputes. No matter how bad a family dispute gets, though, why would race ever be played into the factor unless a person already felt like that? Like, oh, now suddenly that person is a Nigger, or now they're suddenly a Caracker, or they're these racial slurs names just because which I've said that before on another stream. I feel like me personally too, in another life or something. Let me tell y'all two crazy things. Two crazy thoughts that I've already entertained. And it was a reason I entertained them, but for sure I feel like I was definitely like in one of the slave families or something. I really do feel like that. I feel like before I even look into my ancestral search, I might find either of the or. Number one, that I might be offspring, because it was black people that actually owned slaves as well. There were black slave owners. And then it doesn't make it right. I'm not one of those that bring that up to say it's okay. But I would say, if anything, maybe they got treated a little better because they had a black slave owner. But I still don't think slavery is right for anybody, not even during those times. But during those times, it was just a more, accepted thing in society. And it was more prevalent with people with wealth. So there were black slave owners. I feel like I wouldn't be surprised to find out if I was the offspring. Because, like, the hate be on another level, bro. I was like, no, it got to be something. I said, I might find out later I was one of the offspring of, because that's just something they can't always understand. Like, you weren't even a slave. Your people weren't even a slave. Y'all own slaves type of deal. Because black people did. Or I feel like in another life I was actually a white woman. But I don't tell everybody that. I really don't tell everybody that. Like I really do believe just sometimes the level of an intensity of intimidation and hate that be sent my way from like not all white people of course, but I have been through it. Which is actually embarrassing to say, especially if you come from a family that I'm saying like I'm accustomed to it. I'm not to the hate, but to the fact of being open to other races, like even in your family. I'm not blaming all black people issues on integrated relationships. No, I am not doing that. But I am saying it seems to be a something to that, right? Because before the integration in any family of races, all you had was your family and whatever your family was before that. I think it's meant for me to see it too. Like, but yeah, like I believe that because of the type of hate or heat that's like aimed at me and my kids sometimes, I feel like is this something that maybe people in their past lives don't know, or maybe they do know, but I believe it's one of the three. Either I came from a family of slaves, because there could be a whole reason that a slavery type aura, not like aura, but like energy tries to follow you. That could be one reason. Another reason could be because I was a white lady in another life. Another reason could be that I was the offspring of, in another life too, of a black slave owner, because they did exist. Once again, I wouldn't say that it's not important to me, but I'm not just in a rush to go prove it to anybody. But trust me, as soon as I find out, it'll be more interesting to me. But I do believe there are some black people out there that are the offspring of black slave owners. Like, have they went and looked into their, and what would they think about it? You know, would their life make more sense to them as far as the energies that seem to surround them during their lifetime, this lifetime? Like, of course, that wouldn't be have nothing to do with you. That's your ancestors, but I would first, if I go find out I had black slave owners as ancestors, I would. Me personally, I would go pray and talk to God about that because, yeah, people could just look at it as a money thing, but I would look at it more as a integrity thing. Like, and I wouldn't want any generational curses following me because of that. Maybe the malnourishment, the neglect of black slaves that a black slave owner could have once brought upon his own slaves. It gets really, really deep when I look at this personally, just helping other. That's why I call it an insightful topic, you know. And others are always free to leave their opinions in the comments, but there was a little boy on a TV show that it was like a paranormal investigation show where he said he used to be another man. He was a kid too. He was a kid telling his parents that he had another name. Long story short, they went and looked up what the little boy was talking about. It really was a real person that had died in a car wreck and a flood. However, the little boy said he had died before. He said, yeah, I'm just here living another life. For those that think that us mystics are crazy, there are people that have those stories already, where somebody, you know, they felt like they had a dream or some type of spiritual encounter that let them know that they were here before, just as somebody else. With me, I'm going to say it again. I think it was one of three things. This is my last time I'm going to say it. Either I came from one of those slave families, and or I was a white lady before, or I came from people that owned slaves and they were black. Because, you know, they probably dealt with a whole nother level of racism. I'm finna look some stuff up anyway, because I remember this one. What's crazy, this one? Y'all want to know what's crazy? I just never thought about it, but this one black slave owner that did exist in America before, he it was his last name that stuck out to me because it's so crazy. You just never know what You never know what what your ancestry history was. You never know what it is, and that's why I'm finna look him up. Cause if I'm not mistaken, his last name, one of these surnames of these slave owners, some of the Joneses were white people, but because you know these surnames came from England and part, you know, their names, how they used to name their people, Smiths and Elizabeths and Joneses and stuff like that. Where y'all think the term about the Joneses came from? Quote unquote, keeping up with the Joneses, right? I'm looking up so much. I'm finna look up that black slave owner for y'all. But we were reading what the characteristics, what are the signs or red flags that you might be entertained in a bullying community or a sundown town. Some people arrive by accident. Some people arrive intentionally. Some people arrive just to study and research an area. Others, it's to visit, or maybe they do want to reside. They had no other intentions at all but to live a life of community with the rest of the community. You know what I mean? But so we talked about the segregation red flags where they seem to try to make it very known that you are excluded from certain things. These towns, once again, employ intimidation tactics, violence, or threats to discourage non-white residents and visitors. The name comes from the practice of posting signs that warn non-white people to leave town before sunset. While often small towns, sundown towns also existed in suburbs and even larger cities. Did y'all hear that part? That way we clearing up the stigma about sundown towns. So yes, sundown town type of characteristics can be prevalent in larger cities and suburbs as well. I believe somebody brought that to larger cities though. Like I know in larger cities, like I said, it would be more noticeable because that's not even like some small town, and people are trying to bring that small town stuff into whole open city communities, and it's just crazy. Like when did we think we would ever see the day? Sit up here. Here, sit up here, mama. Come on. It says hidden history. Many people are unaware of the history of sundown towns right in their very communities. So now I'm kind of reading some statistics. In Wisconsin, for example, there's reports that Appleton, Janesville, and Macon are confirmed sundown towns. In California, there are 111 confirmed sundown towns. In Illinois, there are confirmed 440 sundown towns. And that is information that was last studied by a organization called the Zen Education Project. Wow, it would be called that, huh? Then in Georgia, there are several sundown towns. And they say anywhere from Maine to California and all throughout the South. They just still exist today. Sundown towns, also known as sunset towns, gray towns, or sundowner towns, are all white municipalities or neighborhoods in the United States. These towns often had explicit or implicit policies and customs designed to ensure that non-white individuals would leave by nightfall, sometimes facing threats of violence or actual attacks if they remained after dark. This is really sad, bro. But we're wondering what are some of those factors that are helping contribute to people being homeless on the street. Now, homeless is a diverse community. You might see people of any race out there, but it does make you think when it comes to a black race. That's why I said I wouldn't, as a leader, take it lightly. We would definitely have penalties if we found proof that you are actually doing it to run somebody out of town. I would say you don't deserve your driver's license. That way, since you feel you're so comfortable in town to run somebody else out, now you have to find new ways to transport around your beloved town. And I don't know, I just feel like it should be stricter penalties for that. The more towns actually you fill up, the less homelessness you have. You still got groups of people sitting here whole gatekeeping towns though. And it's actually legal apparently. It's going to be legal actually until they decide to do something about it. So if they say they're cleaning up homeless encampment areas, I would say that the same should apply to sundown towns, and it should be investigated why there's so many homeless in sundown towns too. It's almost like they put a straight block or something on certain people's life, and then they can't move forward, and they're just constantly trying to break the same cycle over and over again. While no contemporary towns in Texas officially or publicly exclude non-white residents after dark, the legacy of sundown towns, historically characterized by racial exclusion, persists in some areas. These towns, designed to create segregated environments through violence, fear, and racial capitalism, had practices like ordinances, exclusionary covenants, and unequal law enforcement to enforce racial boundaries. Wow. Though these explicit practices are largely gone, the term sundown town can still be applied to areas with a history of racial exclusion and lingering effects. Okay, so somebody asked on Reddit, why are sundown towns still legal? So, sundown towns might be legal, but certain practices are no longer legal. Like just to do them. I mean, if somebody wanted to press charges or stand up for their rights in some kind of way about it, they could if they notice uh, discrimination based on race, color, religion, or sex. This is a part of the Civil Rights Act of 1994 and public accommodations, including public facilities and housing. This act specifically prohibits discrimination in the sale, rental, and financing of housing based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. Any local ordinances or practices that explicitly restricted the movement of residency of non-white individuals would have been repealed or invalidated after the passage of these federal laws. I'll even go back and replay this segment when I need to hear it. Because as y'all just heard, there are certain acts and discriminatory protection laws. Uh, so, yeah. You might see a sign of lack of diversity. You might see cultural and social barriers. Like you can tell when a town is not used to entertaining a certain race of people. That is not illegal, but I'm just saying it's a sign that you might be in an area like that. Then you might start to experience the actual biasness, and you're like, hey, where is this coming from? I'm just trying to shop in a store like everybody else. Back to what I was saying about family integration of people love to mix and blend these families with other races, but when one of their own stands up and says, hey, there's a town of people doing this to me, it's not like black people don't know white people today, right? That they might tell another white person about it and who thinks it's wrong actually. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all do know black people have integrated families today. And maybe you don't agree with it, but it's just too late in modern day society to try to just hate one black person or just hate one group of people when families are blending every day. Let me see. And I think that tells a lot too. these integrated couples get together. Now both sides of the family are getting more familiar with each other, but it doesn't mean that if those sides clash, now you got the white side of the family using their influences to get back at the black side of the family just because the black man cheated on her. And then now you have the integrated biracial kids in the middle of it, plus the black kids in the middle of it. And these cycles just continue to repeat. But yeah, back in the day, it just was kind of against society norm to integrate, you know what I'm saying, with other races. Openly, it was. Let me see. So now we're going to look up the history of African American slave owners. I'm reading directly from Wikipedia real quick. This article is titled African American Slave Owners. It says black slave owners within the history of the United States existed in some cities and others as plantation owners, and most of them were white in the country. During this time, ownership of slaves signified both wealth, are y'all hearing this part, and increased social status. And then it has a old, like a old picture of an order for payment dated March 5th, 1818, from the mayor of New Orleans to reimburse Miss Rosette Montreal, a free colored person, for the labor of her slave. Black slave owners were relatively uncommon. However, as of the 2.5 million slaves living in the United States in 1850, the vast majority were enslaved. The phenomenon of black slave owners still remains a controversial topic among Afrocentricism. Why do y'all think that is? Oh, his last name was Johnson, the one I was talking about here. Slave owners included a small number of people who at least partial ancestry in each of the original 13 colonies and their states and territories that allowed slavery. In some early cases, black Americans also had white indentured servants. It has been widely claimed that an African former indentured servant who settled in Virginia in 1621 by the name of Anthony Johnson became one of the earliest documented slave owners in the mainland American colonies when he won a civil suit for ownership of John Kaser. However, the first documented slave for life, John Punch, lived in Virginia but was held by Hugh Gwynn, a white man, not Anthony Johnson. By 1830, there were at least 3,775 black, including mixed-race slaveholders. That's a lot, y'all. It's a little compared to how many white slave owners it was. I see what they're saying. But it says by the year of 1830, there were almost 4,000 black slaveholders in the South who owned a total of at least 12,000 slaves. So you did have wealthy black people. Around 2 million in the South. 80% of the black slaveholders were located in Louisiana, South Carolina, Virginia, y'all, and Maryland. So those four main states are where you were going to see most of the black slave owners. There were economic and ethnic differences between free blacks of the upper South and the deep South, which I still feel like is generationally prevalent. Like you can see that once upon a time there were differences economically between black people. I don't say there's a million stories that talk about just free blacks and enslaved blacks just fighting all the time, but there were differences, as Wikipedia describes, with the latter fewer in number but wealthier and typically of mixed race. Half of the black slaveholders lived in cities rather than the countryside, with most living in New Orleans and Charleston, And particularly, New Orleans had a large, relatively wealthy free black population, composed of people mixed race who had become a third social class between whites and enslaved blacks under French and Spanish colonial rule. Relatively few non-white slaveholders were substantial planters of those who were most were mixed race, often endowed by white fathers with some property and social capital. For example, Andrew Dunford of New Orleans is listed as owning 77 slaves. Dunford was known as a stern master who worked his slaves hard and punished them often in his efforts to make his Louisiana sugar plantation a success. And by the way, guys, this Dunford guy I'm talking about was black. See, generationally, we can kind of probably feel and see, or I'm helping us to do it at You Will Make It TV, that the ancestry of some of us is so interesting, it's ridiculous. Like, imagine finding out your ancestors was actually a slave to a black man. Not just that slavery was prevalent in your bloodline, but that it was actually, you were actually bought, you know what I'm saying, by a black man, and you work for him. And let me read this again. It wasn't that they had less of a workload or some better life because their slave owner was a black man, okay? A black man or a woman. It's curses like that I'm trying to make sure are not, even if that wasn't in my ancestral lineage, I don't want it to start in my lifetime. Moving forward, you know what I'm saying, with my future generations. Why would I want to yeah, just it's bad to be a slave to anybody, but you know what I'm saying, to black people, that's a whole different type of, it's just crazy. A large majority of profit-oriented free black slaveholders resided in the lower South. We already talked about that. For the most part, they were persons of mixed origin. We talked about that. Often women who had cohabited or were mistresses of white men or mulatto men. What did I tell y'all? I said I wouldn't be shocked if I find out that was in my just certain energies and how hateful and just like envious they be sometimes. I feel like that was definitely like my ancestry trying to talk to me about something that once generationally happened in my bloodline. It did just say that it wasn't uncommon for slave owners to have black mistresses, and sometimes this was a way. Yep, I'm reading it right here. This was a way that offspring was awarded land or wealth. In slave societies, nearly everyone, free and slave, aspired to enter the slave-holding class, and upon occasion, that's crazy, y'all. They had a slave-holding class. I guess this is where they could come to seminars and learn how to be a better slave owner. That's crazy. Upon occasion, some former slaves rose into their slaveholder ranks. Okay. Their acceptance was grudging, as they carried the stigma of bondage in their lineage, and in the case of American slavery, color in their skin. See? So you can't just like, I always thought that was weird with racism on the black against whites part, because, you know, whites were not the only slave owners during that time. If you're going to be racist against anything, you just say you don't like, you didn't like the idea of slave owners and slave owners today. But just to be against a whole race is crazy, because there were more than just white people who had slave owners. They bore witness to their fear and loathing of free blacks in no uncertain terms. For free blacks who had only, so you might not have been a slave owner, but these were the two higher classes of blacks, is what I'm trying to explain back then. You had the class of blacks that were free, so they were often envied or persecuted. But you know, you could only take it so far with a free black. With the blacks that actually owned slaves, there was a different type of envy that might have came with their wealth, because they had people looking down on them that were white and black. There were increasing efforts to restrict the right to hold bondsmen on the grounds that slaves should be kept as far as possible under the control of white men only. So yeah, it just because they were wealthy back then, it's not like they bypassed, what I'm saying, being looked down upon. Even if they had money and wealth and slaves of their own, they still were looked down upon. Like, people felt like they should have only had one class, and that was the slavery class. But I hope you guys learned a little more, because I did try to make this segment as insightfulness as possible. When it comes to just educating ourselves more about where black people come from, they be hoping they just know more than we do, I guess, because a lot of these repetitious effects are still prevalent today. That you don't need a history book or documents to show where you came from. Some of us, what we endure on a day-to-day basis just to feel a sense of community, shows you. Some people just be like, why would you allow this or that? But if it's just a strong energy around you, it's not what you're allowing so much, but maybe your past whispering. I believe some people past even call their name. I really believe that. Your past can check on you more than the future if you're not careful. It's just what you choose to answer to. So no, I wouldn't say because a person energy is around a person, that's who they are. That wouldn't even make sense. Maybe that energy is from their past, is trying to speak to them, is trying to tell them, yeah, you were a black slave owner. You were one of the slaves that were once owned by a black person, right? Plus, you had to deal with how you were looked down upon on white people back then. You never know what you never know what class some of our ancestors came from. It's not that the energy, it's just modern day time, and people just call every energy that's unknown to them evil. Is it evil, or is something or somebody from your past trying to tell you something that's no longer here? Like, hey, I know it's modern day time, but you don't have to suffer like we did. Look at your rights. I very much hear my ancestors preaching that to me today. Look at your rights. Because some of that stuff on the papers now was not there when we were here. That's number one. That's just number one. Like, you can go act the ass like the rest of the black people right now if you want to. Or you can get a little more serious about your life. You say you're on a spiritual journey. You say you want to tap into more knowledge. What was it really then that some of your ancestors could endure? Because some of us, we not even just whole black. Like, I know for sure some of those Native Americans were mixing with other cultures. We just talked about that when it comes to integration. Integration was not just the French and blacks, or the French and whites, or the natives and the blacks. Like, integration is on all levels today. So who the hell is still walking around here racist? That, I mean it in a positive way. Like, how can you do that? Like, you got people with whole mixed kids today, and it's actually accepted in society. But you still got people sitting somewhere secretly racist, right? And their whole daughter might be dating a black guy, or, I mean, and they don't care. They still gonna feel how they feel. It's a lot of that going on. But like I said, it just be more exposed when y'all didn't hear about that black man that his white girlfriend supposedly accidentally shot him recently. Accidentally. But the family wanted it investigated more, thank God. Cause I mean, they could have just let that go. Like, yep, she accidentally shot him, but that's not what they wanted to do. And if I was their family, I would have wanted to look into, cause it ain't the person saying they didn't do it. It's just a matter of if you saying accidentally or not. And this man was one of those that actually like showcased her a lot. Like, I don't want to say showcase, just kind of like show his girl off a lot. Like, hey, look how happy we are. Look at all the things we do. Look how I feel like my life is better because I found somebody I love that might not look like me. I mean, a human is a human, but It just seems like this extra sense of proving that, look, my life has elevated because I switched culture of people when it comes to the preference of dating that I'm into now, right? We just still want our black people to be safe. We don't care who you go date. But do notice, if you have any major significant changes in your life after only integrating with another race, what else could it be? Whether it was a friendship, a work a work relationship, or a family relationship. I was just saying that is normal. Like, people integrate families today. They fall in love with who they fall in love with, right? But still, these relationships shouldn't be used as like whole target weapons. Just because my uncle dated somebody of a different race, or my auntie, or my brother, or my sister, why would that mean I'm now going through new racially targeted like things? Why? If you really say you love my brother, sister, kinfolk, you wouldn't just target me then. You said you don't mind they're black, you dated them, but you didn't like their black sister, you didn't like their black cousin, you didn't like, I mean, see, it has to be looked at deeper. I can date outside of my race, but when I do, are the extensions of me going to be accepted? That's what you know what I'm saying? I'm not biased, I'm not racist, none of that. Like, that would be a real conversation as I'm, I guess, entertaining the new date that's outside of my race. Like, I would actually want to talk about that before we even start dating. Like, I can accept the extensions of you. Of course, if I meet your family, your friends, they may be more white people. Let's be honest. He might just laugh like, you're right, Tetasheri. But see, I come with maybe black people. See, and that would be asking you to accept the extensions of me, not just loving me. Because if your love don't go past me, I'm not talking about my kids or nothing. I'm saying the extensions of me, culture, race, religion, whatever it is. Would you be able to accept that too? Because if you just love the black girl, like, okay, now the black girl gets a black homegirl you don't like, or the black girl has a black coworker you don't like, that's where you just loving her is not enough. You would have to support all things that surround her. Shout out to that one channel though, where the girl's name is Rose. I'm just shouting her out in a positive way. Her and her husband, they're like a biracial couple that shows their life. Sometimes they vlog and stuff, their kids, on social media. Just kind of one of those daily living vlogs. And I just appreciate their channel. I'm actually a fan. I'm just a fan. I love how they show their love for one another. Openly. I love how they show the extensions of their love, like not just them and their kids all the time, but they might show her husband's parents or her parents, or just the different sides of their lives that also come with their lives. You see what I'm saying? It's not just, oh, I'm dating this Cambodian man and I'm black, or I'm dating a guy from Iran and I'm black, right? I would have to know how my quote-unquote partner or spouse feels about the whole culture of black people. Let's say we sitting down watching the news and it's another police brutality attack on a black person, but I'm with a white man. Like, how would we feel in that moment watching it on the news? Could we have a mature conversation about it? Would we care at all? And I was just saying, like, how do these things happen, right? If you have so many people already integrated, say they love their white spouse, say they love their black partner, why would still so much racism? Obviously, both sides should understand now that color shouldn't be a factor. People love each other no matter what race they are. You just got people trying to keep that alive and going. Like, see, in one town, you can have a biracial couple. The next town over, you got a whole town trying to put a black person out. Especially in big cities. In big cities, you're always going to see integrated families. Hey, boo-boo. Here, get all the way up there. Get all the way up there. Yeah, you're always going to see integrated families in bigger cities. Whew. I need to stretch these legs out. I done caught a cramp. I'm just saying, y'all do know integrated families have to have a household. In order to have a household, you have to have a house or somewhere to call a home. Even if it's an all black family, it doesn't matter what race you are. Rent is still going to be expected of us every month. But if you get to playing so much that you're in the way of somebody paying their rent just because they're black, why wouldn't we make it why wouldn't we bring that attention? You see what I'm saying? People want to make it like, no, there's no way to prove that you were trying to push a person out of a community. Bro, it's obvious. Any form of exclusion, discrimination, bullying, intimidation, everything that person do in the community would be, yeah, you can look at that as racial intimidation or sundown townish behavior. That's crazy, bro. Our leaders have to do better. Like, you're okay being proud, the proud mayor of this, the proud leader of that, and people are getting away with pushing people out of communities. Oh, I just need the charger too. Here. But we sitting here talking about why is homelessness? Why is there a new black lady and her kids in a shelter every year? I mean, where else do she run to if she's not safe in her community? That's what this comes down to. Where is a black family supposed to go and they're not safe in their communities? Especially if you're just gonna set up a targeted community everywhere they go. No, nobody does that just coincidentally happen to, and everywhere they go is like new places. New places, like you didn't even tell nobody was coming or going. Just test it. And it's funny how automatically somebody see you quote unquote by yourself somewhere. You can be at the car wash. By yourself means by yourself. Like you standing there. You could be at a grocery store, the mall. I just said by yourself. At any given time though, a woman standing by herself, even shopping by herself, any of that, she's still more prone to violence if you ask me. Just more prone to attack because she's by herself. You're not going to say, oh, it's just that area, it's that community. Communities don't have to be like that. That's what I'm saying. They really don't. If enough people get tired of not being able to walk down the street and be safe, or walk around at night and not be safe, like enough people have to get tired of it. Which, yeah, Trump and his crew, they're tired of it. DC, I can understand why he started cleaning up there. It's like, bro, y'all bringing all that by the White House. A place that we're trying to keep looking clean and delicate, I guess. I'm trying to think if I'm going to come back with a part 3 on this topic. But I pretty much said a mouthful here. Just as far as like giving a commentary and doing my best to better educate people of how these kind of towns affect society too. How these kind of towns affect everyday homelessness statistics. I said these towns and these kinds of towns. Who want to keep it like, because if you sit there and integrate a people, it makes it harder to see where it's coming from too. But I don't care. As long as that person that is being pushed out of the community is black, it does need to be looked at. If they're new to the community, we can see being banished from your hometown, but from a new community is crazy because you didn't even do nothing. That's why they use forms of it. They know, like, technically they can't tell you to leave. That's why they use other forms of just try to irritate you into leaving. Last I checked, though, anywhere with 4 walls and a door, it's a home. You got a shower, a kitchen, no matter what town it's in. It's a home. I was just saying, these kind of towns be having the people that's like, have the most to say about what people should be doing with their lives, including not staying in their town. If you're still stuck on that type of mentality, you shouldn't even be allowed to vote. Because what does your vote matter? All you care about is racism. Like, that's why I feel like God is using Donald Trump too, in certain ways. Because I bet a lot of people did only vote for him as if he was yeah, he advocates racism. He wouldn't want to look like that, would he? But a lot of his supporters, even the ones that's not supporters, it's just over common stuff. Like, they just don't think he's a good leader. But some, they voted for him only and solely because they were racist. But God is still using Donald Trump, because who told you because you vote for a certain influence, certain people should suffer more? Because just look at the slow transition that's been happening lately. Though you can't come to their towns, they want to control the big cities and control the politicians over the big cities. It's weird. Thank you guys for tuning in to another live segment with You Will Make It TV for another inspirational topic. We'll be back with a part 3 on sundown towns and how they're affecting society really, really soon. Thank you for tuning in.